Shalom, YouTube. This is Sister T,
And Sister Ebony.
and welcome again to The Rock. We are back with another video. All right, so this video we're going to be talking about something we've actually talked about 3 or 4 years ago, but
We.
yeah. You're right. Something that I spoke about uh, 3 or 4 years ago, and those same type of questions are always coming. Sisters are still wondering. I think when I spoke of it before, polygyny was a little bit more newer to our ears. It wasn't new, but it was new to our ears. It was new to a lot of people's ears, women's ears. That it was okay, and there was like no examples of it. Now, here we are years later, and it's more common, and people are getting a little bit more familiar with it, getting used to it now, and so they have these same questions, and so we're going to talk about it together, me and my sister, and answer those questions together. So, um, one of the things we wanted to talk about is um, a woman, a wife, her role or her participating in her master having another wife, like how important the participation of that wife is, and also how does it from the other perspective of a sister coming in, like what does it does to the relationship when you participate? How does it help you, and how does it help the sister as well? Um,
One way, well, from a sister coming in, um, since I would technically be the one that would have more experience from a sister standpoint coming in, and she would have more of a standpoint from a sister that was already in the marriage and receiving another sister coming in. Um, from a sister standpoint of a sister coming in, um, would be to get to know the family, um, being able to know what the family dynamic is, by speaking with the husband, and then also speaking and interacting with the wife or wives, depending on if they have more than one wife already. Um, so from my experience, and what my master has pushed, and what Sister T has been involved in, she wanted to be a part of finding her master's, or our master's sister wife, her master at the time, ours now. She wanted to be a part of finding her master's husband. Scratch that. Finding her master's wife, next wife. And so in that, that also um, made it easier, and also helped with us starting out building our relationship, not just starting out building it once I had joined the home. We were able to start building a relationship before me and my master got married. And I was able to see the family dynamic beforehand, ask questions, um, and we were able to start building a relationship, a sisterhood, before me actually entering the home. And so we feel that can really help with, especially in this time where we're not technically really familiar with um, multifamily households, polygyny. Um, it's not a whole lot of examples portrayed out there. We know that there's a lot of polygynous families, but it's not necessarily too much in the forefront where we're able to see it, on a regular basis, so to speak. So being able to, see how the family dynamic is, see, the relationship, or start building the relationship between the sisters. Um,
ahead of time.
Yeah, ahead of time. Um, Pushing past the fear and also the discomfort that may come from, the unknown. If you never been around polygynous relationships, um, then you're not going to necessarily know what you're walking into, or how things are done. So um, that's just one way to face your fear head on. Is say, I'm not sure how it would be with living with another woman, or my husband having another wife. Like, I don't know how that's going to be, and I have a fear, like, because women, we can not have the best relationship, not have each other's best intentions at heart, be selfish, jealousy can be there and all of that stuff. So that would be a good way to face that head on, before going into the relationship, and then some women find out, or just are not up for the work and the building of the relationship that needs to be put in to building a sisterhood and building the relationship with your master. So, and then that's when divorces happen and all that kind of stuff. Versus if you were asked questions and be able to do stuff beforehand and figure, and like, well, maybe I'm not, maybe this is not for me. Maybe a lot of that stuff can be avoided.
Right. And I will like to add in that aspect. Me and Ebony has talked about this a lot, and like, how strange, a person can feel if if the wife does not participate. First of all, what idea is put in the other woman's head and coming in, like, she don't get to know that person's character until she gets there. Well, then that person could technically not want me there. How do I know what's going on behind closed doors? And she may not like it, or she just like, oh, I'll deal with the woman, I guess.
Yeah.
And so that's not giving a good impression, or anything, that you're gonna come together and be a unit, be a family, but that you could be facing discord that you didn't even know was gonna be there. And that's what I talked about in my video, those 3-4 years back. Was That's not what I wanted, and it was a good way. How she said, face your fear for the woman coming in, but you face your fear for the woman's there. I mean, and like I said, she has experiences both sides now. Where if a woman comes in, she'll have experience on being on the other end, on the end that I was in, but she also had experience in being that woman coming in. And wives that are at home who's on board does not mean that they don't have fears. They have fears too. And sometimes that's maybe why they're secluded, or they don't want anything to do with it, or I don't want to see it because I'm still trying to work through my emotions. But honestly, from my experience, it's easier to work through your emotions with the woman with you participating. It is so much easier to know when my master was speaking to a woman and I could talk to her too. And sometimes I may have felt one way or another, and I get on the phone with this woman and she's excited and my master's excited and I'm excited, and we get to talking about the friendship and what we can do and build together, and suddenly that fear or that uptightness, whatever it is like starts leaving, because now you're dealing with this woman as if she's your friend, or like, or that you're starting to gain a friend or someone close to you that's gonna be like loyal to you, and you're loyal to them. You're building something there, so it feels totally different than a stranger coming out of nowhere.
Yeah.
And that's what we talked about when Ebony came into my master's home. We opened the door and it's like, Ebony, Tanisha, versus it's like, who's that? Or is this her? Or, all the weird things. She was able to go to certain places in the home and know exactly what's going on. Or, oh, you told me about this. So she was familiar versus, I don't know what to do. Where do I go? I'm scared. Like, you know what I mean? Or how is this woman about to respond to me? Is she crazy? Or I'm looking at her like, what's your real motive? Why are you here? It takes away all of that. If you help. So if you have fears, you feel some sort of way, face it head on. It's not the time to hide from it, because it ain't going nowhere. If your master has expressed this is the vision that y'all put him on, and this is what he's doing, and he's a righteous, man who fear Yah and he wants to do, you're going to stand by his side. That's one way that you could do that. Just like that, be supportive of that, be supportive of that sister. We're not saying it's going to be flawless. You're going to just always get along and everything's going to be, that's ridiculous. Because we're
That's
humans.
not realistic.
Yes, it's not realistic. We're still humans. We still have ways. We still learn differently. And so I call it working out the kinks. I always say we're just working out the kinks. Um, and so that's what you're doing. The beginning time, you're working out little kinks. You're learning about each other, learning what makes each other tick. And if you have a master who knows how to run his house, he ain't gonna let you act crazy anyway. He gonna be like, y'all better get that together. At least that's our master seller. Like, we ain't got time for no attitudes and stuff. Y'all better figure this out. And we want to. And that's the great thing is, if you are working to build a sisterhood and a friendship, you want to work it out anyway. You really don't want to be that way. You're like, I don't really know how to deal with this situation because what example have I ever had in life of how to deal with this from this standpoint? But when your master is responsible and he's running his home and he tells y'all what he wants, you have no choice but to work it out because you're trying to live up to his standard. And if he gave the law, and like in our master's home, he's already given us the law. We got sisterhood building going on. I want y'all close. Y'all gonna have friendship, this to this, and then we gonna get the job done. So if you are in any way trying to honor or saying that you're honoring and respecting and obeying your master, then you need to work it out. You have to. We ain't got time to be like, well, sometimes she, none of that is in your hands. You're supposed to be working that stuff out. And I find that, at least with us, we don't really want to be mad anyway. We don't really want to stay in that way. You're just kind of like, this person, you realize you're just bothered that day or that moment. Like, that was annoying what she just did. And then you move on. So, helping your master is a better idea in our experience than sitting back on a back burner, being secluded off in a corner, and then thinking you're going to be able to be the helpmeet you need to be with this other woman now and have the sisterhood or the unity or the peace that your master desires. You have to deal with it. You have to interact with each other from our experience. And that's also if so your master allows. Some people's masters may not want that. If your master is saying you don't have to do it, he don't want you to do it, then we are not speaking to you. We won't step on that ground to say something to go against that man's authority. We're just speaking more for those masters who would desire and I mean, maybe you can ask your master. If you ever had a fear of asking him, maybe you didn't know, you can ask him that question. Can I participate? And that's maybe something you can bring to him, and he'll love you for it. That's nothing in my experience. When you're on board like that and you help and then you work to build that relationship with that sister, um, from our experience, once again, the master would appreciate stuff like that because you're showing him something different than your old maybe selfish self. Like he lets him know you think about somebody more than just you. So.
And maybe he may. I was just thinking that, like, if you were to ask, and your husband may be like, "You want to do what?" Well, I don't know. Let me think about it. Just make sure that if that is really truly on your heart, then show him. Make sure you show him that. Don't just ask him that one time and then just leave it alone. If that's really what's on your heart, then show some type of fruit, or show some type of interest, and that's really something that you want to do and you want to be a part of with your master, whether that's asking again or asking questions, or about the woman, or some type of fruit in showing that that is really something truly that's on your heart. If your master may have some type of reservation.
Especially us, and I hate to put it this way, sisters, but I was in the same boat, so I'm actually throwing myself under the bus when I say this. But if you are a loudmouth woman or an opinionated woman, or in your marriage, a loudmouth, opinionated, or feel like you had to say something to everything he does, or at least part of what he does, like you feel like you had to give your opinion, your 2 cents when he didn't ask, he may have some reservations. He may be like, what you really want? He may look at you that way. So you really going to have to step out and show him, no, I'm changed though. Like that was from before. Um, so you want to definitely show him what you're talking about by your actions, by just expressing it, by being supportive, by, let's say he talked to a sister and I know they had a good conversation. Just be happy for him. If your demeanor changes every time you get on the phone with a woman, and your demeanor changes, and you got an attitude, you forgetting to serve him his food, or you serve him his food like here, or or something crazy, he's gonna be like, oh no, I mean, there's no way. If you say, yeah, honey, I'm all for it, whatever you want to do, but then every time you talk to her, you're like, here's your food, or you over there like, here, and he's like, well, what's wrong with you? Nothing. I'm just. He gonna be like, what? Something going on with this woman, or whatever. He's gonna know she's still dealing with this emotion, and I don't know if that's a good idea. She ain't ready, or he gonna. You don't want him to think that you're trying to sabotage anything. I guess is the main
Right.
thing. You want to know that you're really gonna support him. So, um, and I know we're supportive that way. Um,
Yeah.
I was supportive of him on the phone. I'm just the cheese. Hey y'all enjoy yourself. Have at it. Oh yeah, let's do this, master. Just some way to show him that you're not the same person from before. So, that's kind of the main thing that we wanted to talk about, because now that polygyny has been talked about more, it's becoming more and more in the open. More families are not afraid to put themselves out there or show themselves a little bit more. Um, People have more questions now. They're like, okay, so what do I expect? You know. And lastly, one part I know we wanted to touch on was, do not go into any family's home expecting what you've seen anywhere else. Every polygynous family is different. The head that runs that house is different, and he's going to go off of whatever unction, whatever leadership, whatever thing that he believes in. That's how he's going to lead the house. So if you have a man that serves Yah, he fears Yah, Yah's giving him a vision. There may be a man over here that loves Yah, serves Yah, but Yah's giving him a vision, and may not all be the same thing. No one man just runs their house exactly 100% the same. They may do different things. They may be good friends and won't even run in the same way. So you can't be like, oh, well, I saw this family over here, or I know this family over here, and they let their family have, I don't know, bank accounts or something.
Yeah.
Where you go to this man's house, he be like, where my bank account? And he gonna be like, what are you talking about? What are you talking about? We have one bank account, and I run it. Whatever. And that's just like a small example, or
Yeah.
something. So don't just expect, oh, it's going to be the same way as over here, so you got these expectations. No, you talk to that man, you talk to those wives, you talk to that family, and you find out how that man's house is ran, and focus on, since I want to enter his home, this is the dynamic I need to know, and this is what I need to adjust to, this is what I need to line myself up to, because listening to other people's dynamics can really throw you off. Anything you want to add to that part?
Um, we're just given, different things of different what you can expect in polygynous relationships, or uh, different, how you can think of it differently with sisters and sisterhood. If you're going into polygynous relationship, if you're interested in it, if you just curious about it, um, different ways that you can look at, what polygyny can be, what it is, because it is that to us, and what it is can be for different families. So different aspects that you can think of, different ideas. Um, our master is big on sisterhood and togetherness, togetherness with sisters, togetherness as a family, and just knowing what it is to build a relationship, to build a sisterhood. Um, and then, and also building with our master, but right now we're just talking on the sisters aspect. um, so what we gave you was an example of how you can start out building before you even enter into a home, if that family, if that polygynous family is really, what you want to join into. And we're used to friendships and sisterhood in the world, blood sisters, um, even those your friends, people that you're friends with, and your blood sisters, y'all still have separate lives and separate separate. Everything is still separate, so to speak. Um, Something that our master is teaching to us is what real sisterhood is and what real togetherness is, and um, like us in our home, we have to be able to work together most of the time, a lot of times, all the time.
At least most. I
At
think
least
every
most.
once in a while there's just maybe a task that's, here and there that one may take on a little bit more than the other. And but even then, it's kind of like, make sure your sister get up in there some way somehow.
Yeah.
Even if she's involved 10%, 10% is better than no percent.
Yeah.
So even if it's and as much as possible, you and your sister should do this together. And he's very suggestive with it too. Like, that video I was talking about, you and your sister should watch it together.
Right.
Because knowing you get busy. She over here watching, I'm over here watching. And he's like, so did y'all watch it together? And it's that constant reminder of like, Master don't be playing. He said together.
Yeah.
So let's put the video on together, make the time and make it happen.
And a lot of times, women, we don't want to necessarily work toward and build that sisterhood. It always comes down to being separatism some kind of way, or them doing their own thing. And that can come down to having division in the home, or some ways, something is always where sisters aren't able to work together, and then it causes maybe the husband not to be able to do things the way he actually wants to do them. He's not able to fulfill his vision the way he really wants to fulfill it. It's some type of discord, or some type of where things aren't able to be either ran smoothly or exactly the way the husband wants it, because this sister can't work with this sister, or they're not able to be around each other for that long amount of time without something wrong.
Right.
So we just wanted to present to you different ideas, asking more questions, in building sisterhood, and also with joining polygynous families. Am I saying that right?
Yes.
Okay. I don't want to go off on a tangent. I'm trying to keep it
right. And really,
along
on
the
this
same
topic,
context.
it's kind of vast. I mean, we have a lot that we can put out even more. So probably expect a part 2, actually, because there's more that we would like to cover. That may be able to help somebody. So if this video helped you, please put it in the comment section. We like the interaction. We like when you ask questions and put them in the comment section. So please do that so we can interact with you and so you can get your questions answered. We only coming from a perspective that we've lived, or something, situations that we know. We're not going to go off on a tangent and tell you to disobey your husband in any way or do it our way. Nothing like that. This is just helpful information for those who are seeking it, who wants to be covered, because being covered is very, very important. So now that a lot of women are out there, you're familiar with it now, you're looking for a covering, you want to know what you're walking into. Or you want to know at least, well, what step do I take? Well, here's a perspective.
Yes.
It's not the way, it's a way. And so we're just sharing that story and our testimony, our story with you. So any questions you have from what you heard already, you can put it in the comment section. You can ask us, and we will get back to you as soon as time allows, hopefully as soon as possible. And we'll be back for part 2, because we have notes, and we're gonna need a part 2. So if you like the video and everything like that, we're glad for any of you that watched it, who supported our channel for all this time and our videos. And with that being said, we're gonna say bless you and shalom.